Joe, yes, it is Across the Board Sports Talk Show on an NFL Sunday. We are back. We are live. Everything is fine. We have reestablished ourselves here on Across the Board Sports Talk Show. And what better way to come back on an NFL Sunday to have all this stuff going on back here in our undisclosed location with Carson Wentz, the mystery. I can call it a saga. I think a saga is a good word for Carson Wentz. I mean, the guy, with a vertebrae broken, fractured, however you want to. I never understood the difference between a fracture and a break. We need to get a doctor on the line, Joe, about a fracture and a break. But either way, the guy's been hurt. Carson Wentz has been hurt. But maybe do you know the difference between a fracture and a break?
They're both
pretty bad.
From my understanding and me going through it, they're both pretty much almost the same. It's like a fracture is more like a tiny little crack.
Yeah, and a break is like a.
And the break, it's literally it's
just broken. All right, so this is the deal with Carson Wentz, and I'm sure you guys have already seen the story.
Both hurt equally, though.
Yeah, both hurt, and he's been playing with this fractured vertebrae for several weeks. He's been in, the doctors. Look, the story, whether or not you think the doctors knew about it or not, and didn't tell him, that's a debate in itself. I think that's just ridiculous. The story that came out that said that the doctors knew about it. He's been playing with this fractured vertebrae. We're gonna talk about this Carson Wentz situation and the long-term discussion about Carson Wentz is, did they rush him back too soon? Now, of course, it's easy to say that when the team is 6-7 on the outside looking in. Took a bad loss to Dallas last week in overtime. I mean, you could look at it and say Nick Foles should have started this season to begin with, right? That's debatable. We're going to get into that in the next hour and change. What I want to hear from you guys, we're not, and Craig, my man Craig says we're still talking about that team in green. There is way more to talk about, Craig. We're talking about the team in blue and white, or blue and gray, blue and white. Two teams in blue and white with Dallas and Indy coming up in a little bit. One of the top five, NFL games of the day. We are talking Patriots and Steelers, and I'm throwing it out to all my listeners today. What the hell is wrong with the Pittsburgh Steelers? I think this has been an ongoing discussion off my show and now on the show. I want to hear from you guys about the Patriots and Steelers because the dynamic of Pittsburgh needs a win. You're at home. You came off of a bad loss against Oakland. Now you've got the Patriots, who are damn right, outright pissed off. The way Miami beat them last week was phenomenal if you're a Dolphins fan, or if you're looking at it from, I hate the New England Patriots, right? The Dolphins knock off the Patriots last week. Now, Brady and Belichick off of the loss in Pittsburgh. It's a weird game, to say the least, and both teams actually need the win because New England now in third behind the Houston Texans to get that second seed in the AFC. So there's a lot more going on than just the team in green, Craig. But I got to talk about the Eagles, and I got to talk about Carson Wentz because this story is unimaginable. I mean, the guy was playing hurt. I mean, I look at it like this, all right? I said it from 6 weeks ago when we talked about Carson Wentz. I think we've discussed it. We've discussed Carson Wentz pretty much every week on the show, and we've talked about it, all right? And I've told you guys from day one, if the guy's fully healthy to play, you got to put pressure on the quarterback to make plays. Last week, in one of the biggest games of the year, what did he do until the fourth quarter? What did he do until the Eagles had to put some plays on the board? Carson Wentz disappointed this team this year, underachieved. Besides the Pittsburgh Steelers, the most disappointing team. I mean, you could argue the Eagles are the most disappointing team in the NFL this year. I mean, I'll throw that right out to all my listeners right now. Is this the most disappointing team in the NFL this year? I put both of them, both Pennsylvania teams, on that map. The Eagles and the Steelers, both extremely disappointing seasons this year. Extremely disappointing. For the Pittsburgh Steelers to have Antonio Brown and Ben Roethlisberger and Juju Smith-Schuster and those tight ends and a running game that even without Le'Veon Bell did not skip a beat with James Conner. And you are 7-5-1 and just lost to the Oakland Raiders. And I don't know what the hell happened to Ben last week going to the sidelines. I'm reading some gambling stories saying that it was fixed, that there was some sort of hanky-panky going on. I don't want to believe it, but I've seen it before. All right, I'm not bullshitting a bullshitter here today. I'm coming straight out of a cannon because I'm fired up. I just watched 2 amazing Premier League soccer games right now, and I've been up since 5 a.m., so I'm freaking locked and loaded. I think that's a bunch of... Ben needs to be Ben, right? I think for Ben Roethlisberger to be so disappointing, and we're going to get to a lot of comments right now. I see a bunch of people tuned in. I know Laura said there's no difference between the fracture and the break with the vertebrae between Carson Wentz. I didn't think there was a difference between a fracture and a break. If it's fractured, it's broken, you're hurt, don't play. And if the doctors knew about it, let the guy stay out, because this is the future of the NFL for Carson Wentz. It's the future of their franchise, and yet he was thrown out there. He played like shit. The coach, Doug Peterson, was drawing up plays like RPOs and running out of the pocket, getting him out on his feet, and he's injured. If the staff knew about it, that's a big, absolute disgrace that they did that. I don't know I don't know what to feel about it. I don't know. I honestly don't know who knew, who didn't know. But if Carson Wentz had an injury, if he was playing with an injury, and I have a lot of football fans, obviously ex-football players listening right now. If you've got an injury, if you're hurt, don't you know? I mean, don't you know you're banged up? Don't you know your vertebrae is fractured? I mean, I don't even know where to fucking locate my vertebrae. But do you not know that you're banged up, especially as a quarterback? I mean, for me, it's something's wrong here with Carson Wentz. Somebody dropped the ball along the way here, and I want to get your thoughts. I want everybody on the chat room right now to give me your thoughts on this Carson Wentz saga. If you missed the report, of course, came down a couple of days ago. I'm going to get to Randy's comment. Joe, everybody timed in right now. I want to get the feel for today. Colts-Cowboys is the top game of the day. Patriots-Steelers is the top game of the day. Even though we're talking about the Eagles, as far as a sliding season that's been disappointing, Eagles-Rams is still a big game tonight on Sunday Night Football. Saints-Panthers is a big one tomorrow. Carolina, talk about a slide. They've hit the wall hard, and we'll talk about the Saints and Panthers. So there's a lot to get to here in the show. We got a good, strong over an hour to go here on Across the Board Sports Talk Show. Light it up on the chat room, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Across the Board Sports Talk Show. Like, share, subscribe on the Mixlr app, mixlr.com/Joe-Eunice. Randy Atia, my man Randy chiming in. Big shout out to Randy, and of course his Lehigh Valley Driving School Network. If you want to reach out to Randy, give him a shout out right here on the chat room. Leave me a message right here, and I'll pass along if you're looking for your kids, your nephews, your nieces to learn how to drive. Randy will help you out. Randy says Cowboys smother luck today. I disagree. I respectively disagree. I'll tell you more at 11:15, coming up in about 25, 23, 24 minutes on the GodfatherLocks.com free pick segment. Another phenomenal day yesterday. 3-0 in college football bowl season, covering with Fresno State, Eastern Michigan, Appalachian State. I'll tell you what, 3-0 in college football, an unbelievable bowl season already. 9 straight college football victories, 25-9-1, the last 35 picks in college football. I mean, I should just become the NCAA president of sports book advising. I just made up a role to bet on college football, but we'll talk about that coming up at 11:15. I'm giving out 3. Speaking of freebies, Randy, 3 free picks today on the GodfatherLocks.com free pick segment coming up at 11:15. Of course, check out GodfatherLocks.com for all of your servicing needs. NCAA basketball, how about the Tar Heels yesterday? North Carolina getting the job done against Gonzaga. An 8-1 NCAA basketball run, and Indiana with a 3-point buzzer beater way downtown for the Indiana Hoosier, knocking off the Butler Bulldogs yesterday. Another great day on the site at GodfatherLocks.com. 8-1 NCAA basketball record run right now in the last 9 games. So GodfatherLocks.com free pick segment coming up at 11:15. Fantasy football, if anybody's still involved. My team is long gone. That boat has sailed. The second Le'Veon Bell said he's not reporting. My team has nailed it in. If you're in a playoff push, if you're in the championship semifinals right now, I'd love to get you some stardom and situms for any players that you're deciding on, who to start and who to sit. That'll be open at 11:30. Of course, throughout the show. Excuse me, I'm so fired up. I'm losing my voice already, and we're 20 minutes into the show. Leave your stardom situm comments on the chat room. Of course, throughout the show, we will mention them, especially at 11:15. Randy says, let's congratulate Rami Musa, good friend of mine. Of course, Rami is on the show right now listening in, becomes the new Palisades head football coach. I know Rami's been involved with coaching for a long time, and I think that's a pretty good feat. Of course, everybody listening on the Facebook app, local friends and family, of course, know who Rami is, I'm sure. Rami's a new head coach. I didn't know that until right now. So big shout out to Rami. Congratulations taking that post as a head football coach in high school. I've always said this on the show, and Randy knows this as well. I know speaking about Randy here on the show here with the comments, I've always said I'd like to do more high school shows. I'd like to do more juice behind high school football, high school basketball, and high school sports, and maybe we'll get that going in the near future with some local high school flavor, especially in the fall doing high school football. I think that would be pretty cool, doing a live show from a high school stadium. But speaking of the NCAA, this is from Randy as well. I will be directly behind the URI. And yes, you told me about this Rhode Island bench as they take on Press Virginia today at 1. Yes, so this is one of the sneaky games of the year. And I know West Virginia is off to a up and down start, and so is Rhode Island. I know they lost some seniors on that team, but these are two of the teams that were in the mix last year, of course, with their shooting, and then West Virginia is defensive style game. That's one college basketball games that should be pretty interesting and pretty awesome to watch. So big shout out to, I think that's local, that's on TV as well. I'm pretty sure that's being broadcasted. I'm sure Randy will double take that. But college basketball, it's never too soon to get into college basketball. I personally think this is the best time of the year for sports when the NFL is ready to make a playoff push. It's bowl season. I mean, you're watching the Camellia Bowl, the Cure Bowl, the Las Vegas Bowl. I don't care what you call it. Call it the Fried Chicken Bowl. I'm going to watch, right? And I'm going to have a pick on it, and I'm going to watch, and I'm going to be entertained by it. And it's college football. So I'm a big supporter of college sports, college bowl games. I think it's pretty awesome. And I appreciate all those likes that I'm getting. I don't know who's sending me all those likes, but I'll take it. Definitely appreciate the love here on Facebook Live and, of course, on YouTube Live on Across the Board Sports Talk Show. Yes, on the CBS Sports Channel, you could see Rhode Island and West Virginia, and you may see Randy right behind the Rhode Island bench. So wave your hand, Randy, when you're on TV for a little bit, maybe in the first half. I'll tune in and try to catch you as I'm in the midst of all this NFL hecticness that is going on today in the NFL. We are in the 11 o'clock hour. I'm going to set this straight. We're going to talk Patriots Steelers at 11 o'clock, and I posed this question, and we're going to mix in the Wentz conversation. I know it's the big story locally, and I've led the show with it. I think the guy should have never played this year, personally. I mean, I think the guy's been banged up. He's been hurt. Nick Foles, yes, did he start off the season a little sluggish? Sure. But this is also a guy that won you a Super Bowl last year. I've said it back in the beginning of the year. I thought Nick Foles, I thought you needed to be 100,000,000% certain that Carson Wentz was clear to play. The doctor said he was. So I don't know what happened from then till now. He hasn't been the same quarterback. Let's not bullshit it, right? He had one good game this year. Carson Wentz played one good football game this year. It was against the Giants on Thursday Night Football back in October, or whatever it was, late September or October. And that was the only game I thought he played pretty well this year. I thought that he's shown flashes of being great. He's shown flashes against the Redskins on Monday night. He's shown a little bit of flashes here and there throughout the year. But overall, you knew something was wrong with Carson Wentz. And don't you guys agree? Didn't you see something wrong with Carson Wentz? Did anybody sit there and say, this is the Carson Wentz that we knew we were getting, and this is the guy we saw in this first go-around with the Eagles, and prior to him getting hurt, this is the Carson Wentz that we love? I didn't see it. And I know in the biggest game of the year last week, he came up small, missing guys, missing routes, not making smart plays in the pocket, just didn't look like he's Carson Wentz the way I thought Carson Wentz would look. I'm just saying that Doug Peterson, the coaching staff, the medical staff, whoever dropped the ball on this needs to be criticized. It needs to be put out for discussion. And I know it has been. I know it's in the media. I know it's been a talk in the media all week. I just think if you got a fractured, broken vertebrae, whatever it is, you can't play football. You can't play. Like I said earlier, I know I made a joke. I can't even find my vertebrae. But if I was a quarterback in the NFL and I'm tossing the ball around and I'm a first picking a draft and I'm your franchise quarterback, I'm not risking myself. I'm not throwing this guy out, whether the Eagles knew about it or not. That's why there's a debate here. And if you guys think and agree they knew about it, you don't throw the guy out there. You just don't do it. And that's why I want to throw this out to the listeners to see if Carson Wentz came back too soon. And I know everybody's talking about it, and I know it's been a hot discussion on social media. I just think it's an injury that's been lingering. I think the guy's been banged up. I think they rushed into it too soon. Hindsight's 2020. He hasn't looked good all year. Coming from a diehard Eagles fan, my man Anise says, I think Dougie P deserves more criticism than Carson. You're being too hard on him. His numbers have been great, over 100 QBR. I'm not being too hard on him. I'm sorry. I don't think I am. Because if you're clear to play, all right, you're Carson Wentz, you're taking a Super Bowl. This isn't the Cleveland Browns, by the way, who looked pretty good yesterday and have looked pretty good ever since Hugh Jackson got canned. Baker Mayfield's looking like an NFL franchise quarterback. That's a side note. If you are a team that is not in the mix, if you are the Tampa Bay Bucks, if you are the San Francisco 49ers right now, or the Arizona Cardinals, I wouldn't criticize a quarterback like that the way I am with Carson Wentz. When you're a guy who's taken over for the defending Super Bowl champion in a division, up until about a couple of weeks ago when Dallas all of a sudden emerged, was a very winnable division, okay? Carson Wentz cannot play the way he's been playing this season. I've been hard on him. I'm not denying that. I've ripped Carson Wentz every week we've done this show because I don't think he's playing to the capability that he should be playing, whether it's based off of an injury or whether it's based off of just a lack of focus or something's wrong with the guy. All right, this is the criticism that needs to be put out, in my opinion. And I don't know. I hear what you're saying, and Doug Peterson does deserve a little bit of criticism. There's no doubt about it. When you're a Super Bowl winning coach and you come back with a team like the Philadelphia Eagles and the way they've been playing, there is no excuse. Someone takes the fall on the sword, and I unfortunately look at it as it's got to be Carson Wentz, because if you're banged up, you shouldn't be out on the field. It's 11 o'clock. It's Across the Board Sports Talk Show. We've got a strong hour coming up. Like I said, I'm fired up. You can tell on my voice. We have an NFL Sunday to talk about. Randy says I have a live guest who wants to discuss the Steelers' hot topic. How about that? I am going to get into the Steelers and the Patriots. I would love live guests. I always take live guests, no matter what time of the day it is, where I am, however, anytime, any place, whether it was at the Beef Baron last Sunday. We've got a couple live shows coming up after the new year that we're going to get to. Anybody's more than welcome to be a live guest on the show. That's what makes Across the Board show different than any other shows that you listen to on the radio, because if you go see another live radio show, I don't think they're going to put you on the air. You could do that here with Across the Board Sports Talk Show. A big shout out to all my advertisers, of course, to bring you this show. It is Across the Board Sports Talk Show. You can reach us at YouTube Live on Across the Board Sports Talk Show, Facebook Live, where you are watching me, most of you guys right now, and on the Mixer app, mixlr.com/Joe-Unis. You can tune in at any moment. Bring in your comments, your questions, your thoughts on Carson Wentz. I said he should have never been brought back. Period. They should have shut him down. He should have never been on the field. The broken vertebrae, fractured vertebrae, twisted pinky toe, I don't care. If he wasn't fully healthy, he hasn't looked healthy at all year. There's no debating that. I think it's for me, I think I don't think he should have been brought back. I don't think he should have played this year. I don't think it should have happened. All right, Randy's asking for a share request if you want to get a chance to add us in. Can we do that, Joe? Of course, Joe. Big shout out to Joe and JDM Photography from jdmphotography.net. Now, Randy's at the game here, so this could be a who knows who he's got. This is a live guest. This could be a celebrity. This could be somebody at the West Virginia Rhode Island game. Let's see who we got here. If he can bring him on. Now, when we get him on, can he talk?
I think so.
Can my listeners see him? I don't know if we can get him on. He said he sent a share request. I'm trying to see. Hold on a second. There goes my video.
It's
Adding, loading. Bear with me, guys, as we might have a live guest coming on via satellite. Now, this would be a first for Across the Board Sports Talk Show as we are on live. Is he on? You can see him. I can't. Who's online right now?
Joey.
Yes. Oh, look at this. How about this? This is sorry. So now it did split. So. This is awesome. This is great. So it worked. All right, we got Tony Nassar, big listener to the show. I knew when you said Steelers, the first guy I thought about was Tony Nassar. Or Jeffrey Alcohol, two guys that would listen right now. Tony, what's going on, guys? You guys on a road trip?
What up?
Can they hear me right now? I think they can.
Yeah, they should be able to hear you.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You're good.
All right, you guys are on the road. You guys are on the road right now. Tell me a little bit about this.
Tony trying to keep his eyes on the road here, but he's fired up about the Steelers.
He's fired up. Tony, give me in a nutshell. I know I've been watching Tony's posts on Facebook. I've been on the Mike Tomlin fire bandwagon for a long time. Fire Tomlin. Tony, tell what the hell is wrong with the Pittsburgh Steelers in a nutshell. Please tell my listeners what the hell's wrong.
Listen,
Mike Tomlin needs to go. His clock management is absurd. He doesn't know what he's doing. Okay? Oakland got to the 7-yard line with 1:53 left, and he sat on 2 timeouts, let the clock get down to 36 seconds.
Yeah.
It's despicable. He doesn't know how to manage the team. He's too much of a player's coach, and he does not pay attention to the clock or his timeout situation.
Exactly.
And the whole situation, keep him back on the sideline so he can get the feel of the game, his absurdity, and he needs to be fired.
Okay. Now,
This segment is not sponsored by Lehigh Valley Network Driving School.
well, I was going to say, you guys are driving, and is Tony driving or he's the passenger right now? Randy, you're the passenger.
I'm the passenger.
Yeah, okay. So, Tony, keep your eyes on the road, all right? We can talk Steelers. You have to just keep your eyes on the road. Now, my thing with Ben is, do you think he could have came back? Do you think he should have been on the sideline for the portion of that game? Was he really hurt, or do you think that was all Tomlin?
Yeah, a report just came out this morning. He potentially has a cracked rib.
I saw that, but I'm saying, do you think he should have been brought in a little earlier before Oakland took that lead late in the game?
That's a tough son of a gun. He just, he's a little prima donna, and he over-exaggerates his injuries. But Tomlin has no control of that team, from Le'Veon Bell to Antonio Brown to the entire organization. He has no control of game clock, of anything. The whole organization is being run into the ground by one man.
Yeah.
And he needs to go. And my bold prediction, I told Randy, is we get blown out today, and they get fired after the game with McCarthy stop.
Well, if they lose today, now here's my question about today's game. Now, you know the Patriots are coming off that loss to Miami last week. You don't want to face Tom Brady and Bill Belichick off of a loss. This is a monumental game for both teams. Tony, I got to get your prediction. Of course, if you guys are tuning in right now, but yeah, we have a little bit of a delay. I know we're on a delay. We're trying to make this work. We got a bunch of people tuned in right now. Lisa, Sam, Mike, Michael. If you're wondering what's going on, this is the first ever across the board talk show. I think they're doing a map quest. Across the board sports talk show, split screen, live on location. Randy, chime in, Randy, real quick about what you're going to. Now, you're going to a Rhode Island, West Virginia basketball game. Before we get to Tony's prediction, how cool is this, and how'd you get involved in something like this?
I think we're losing you a little bit, Joe.
Listen,
man, we'll be on the chat. We'll be typing.
All right, they're going to be on the chat. He must not heard it. All right, Tony, give your prediction on the chat room if you haven't listened to me. Thank you guys very much. How about that? Live on request. I don't know if we can get rid of him. There we go. Let's see if we can
get rid of him.
Well, yeah. Let's just try to get rid. Let's see. All right.
Yeah,
I think we're back. All right. Big shout out. That was pretty cool. And this might add another element to the show. I think. I don't know if they're. Yeah. There they go. It's back to me now. So there is a little bit of a. Not only is there a delay when that was happening, but there's a delay on my iPad. Like I'm watching myself. And I'm about 30 seconds, you probably say 20 seconds, something like that. It's technology. But that was pretty cool. So these guys are traveling down to the West Virginia, Rhode Island game. I believe they're going to West Virginia on an NFL Sunday. That's pretty badass. Again, coming from a Steelers fan, as it leads me to this topic of the show today, as we talk about Patriots, Steelers, biggest game of the day. I asked him what's wrong with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He said to fire Mike Tomlin. Look, in the NFL, the coach always takes, to me, the coach always takes the fall, right? If it's not the coach, it's the quarterback. Everything's tied in together. You talk about the Philadelphia Eagles with what's happening to Carson Wentz and his fractured vertebrae, and then you say, who takes the criticism? Look, Doug Peterson's not going to lose his job because the Eagles are 6-7 right now and are probably going to miss the playoffs after they take the loss to the Rams because he just won them a Super Bowl. He brought the Philadelphia Eagles a Super Bowl. But you look at the Steelers situation, Mike Tomlin, with all that firepower, right, Joe? And you have a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers who has all these weapons, okay? And you just can't get it to work. This team is better than a 7-5-1 team. Who's it going to fall on? Like, if you got all the pieces in place, you've got the receivers, you've got the quarterback, you've got a running game that didn't skip a beat, even though Le'Veon Bell never showed up. This team is still solid. It's got to be the coach. It's got to be Mike Tomlin. And I know Tony's a diehard Steelers fan. I got Jeff, who's also a diehard Steelers fan, says fire Tomlin. I mean, doesn't the blame go on the coach? And remember, the Pittsburgh Steelers don't fire coaches every year. They've only had a handful of coaches in their franchise. I mean, look at Bill Cowher was there for ages. Then Mike Tomlin oversees Bill Cowher. He's been there for ages. They don't really fire coaches in Pittsburgh. They're not like the Cleveland Browns, who every other year have a new coach. So if you got all the weapons, if you have all the talent, it's got to come down to the receiver, right? To the quarterback. It has to be the quarterback. He mentioned time management. Andy Reid's had problems with time management for years. And the knock on the Kansas City Chiefs, you saw them blow a lead late in the game on Thursday, that they can't close. That they can't close even in the playoffs. They can't close at home. Let's backtrack a little bit. Big comments coming in. Joe says Big Ben playing with the rib issue. I get that. I know that. Don't matter. He came in the game against Oakland. Wasn't enough, right? I was watching that game last week in the midst of the Cowboys and Eagles game. When you're Ben Roethlisberger, rib issue or not, you cannot lose to the Oakland fucking Raiders. You can't lose to the Oakland Raiders. If you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, you got Baltimore breathing down your neck. That was an inexcusable loss. And now today, you got to play New England, who took a loss, which was also inexcusable, to the Miami Dolphins in that crazy play. So you tell me now. Now you're in a position where you have to beat the New England Patriots. Ease McCool, their assistant coaches never adjust during the game. That is the problem. No one is held accountable. Prediction for my man Sam. Shout out to Sam up there at Honda, where I take my car for servicing. Maybe that'll get me a discount in the future. He says Steelers 28-23 prediction. So we have some Steelers predictions coming in. E says Steelers need to stop worrying about tradition and loyalty. They need to cut the fat. That means Mike Tomlin. They're calling for Mike Tomlin's head. And that's from Elias. Ease is a Steelers fan as well. A lot of Steelers fans tune into the show, not just Eagles fans. I know a lot of people who said they got to fire Mike Tomlin. I am one of them. You cannot lose to Oakland. You cannot. Period. And now you get New England today. Thoughts on New England versus Pittsburgh? Who needs it more? Personally, I think Pittsburgh needs it more. Even with New England in the middle of a fight for that second seed. Now Houston has seized the second seed, right? Houston now has become that second seed in the AFC playoff picture right behind Kansas City. Could end up being the LA Chargers. Watch out. But who needs this game more? Is it the 9-4 Patriots who are coming off of a loss to the Miami Dolphins the way they lost? Or is it the Pittsburgh Steelers who are on the verge of blowing this whole thing, just completely botching the season that I thought, right? Coming into the year, Joe, I was on record. Saints Steelers, remember that?
Yep.
We thought Saints Steelers, even without Le'Veon Bell, this Pittsburgh Steelers team, too much talent, too much firepower to let a guy like Mike Tomlin F it all up. It's period, done, finished. The window is closing on Big Ben. Rib issue or not, suck this shit up. I talk about Carson Wentz with the fractured vertebrae. I have a rib issue. I don't even play quarterback. Everybody, okay, getting knocked. The way he plays quarterback, he's gonna get hurt. Okay, he gets hurt, gets hit in the ribs. This is the type of quarterback he is. He stays in the pocket, takes some shots, never gives up on plays. Do they fire Mike Tomlin after today's loss? According to Tony Nassau, who was on a road trip down to West Virginia. If you lose to the Patriots, Joe, does that give you a pass to not get fired today? Like if this Raiders loss was this week, I think they would have fired him because you're losing to a shitty Oakland team. If you lose to Tom Brady, right, 7-6-1, they're not going to fire him tomorrow. They're not going to do Mike Tomlin dirty. No. You know Pittsburgh's like Eli Manning, right? Last year when they benched him, that was wrong late in the season. They could have parted ways with him. You don't treat a guy that brought you 2 Super Bowls. You don't treat a guy like Mike Tomlin, even though I think he should be fired. I don't think you fire him on a Monday. I think you let the season play out.
Yeah, you let the season play out, and then you say, hey, listen, it ain't
part ways. If you don't make the playoffs. But you lose to Tom Brady, that's not a bad loss. That's not a bad loss. I mean, I don't look.
Tom Brady makes a lot of people look bad.
Exactly. So I don't think you could. For me.
But then you got the Cowboys coach. Everybody was calling for his head not too long ago.
Exactly. What happened to the Cowboys after that game? We were sitting live at the Cut, one of my sponsors on the show, 1058 3rd Street, Whitehall, where I'll be on Wednesday. Albert has tuned in. My man Albert from the law office, Albert, hasn't commented on the hair yet. I'm disappointed on that as well. But I'll be there Wednesday getting a haircut. We'll do a live show there again in the new year once the calendar turns. We were sitting there on that show at the Cut, and everyone's saying, fire Jason Garrett, leave him in Philadelphia. Well, do you remember what happened that night in Philadelphia on Sunday Night Football? They haven't lost since. The Cowboys are 8-5. They've got a game against Indy, which we're going to talk about in about a couple of minutes here on the GodfatherLocks.com pick segment. Can the Steelers make a run? That's the question I have. Can the Steelers get this ship straight? Because I look at it and I say, you've got too many weapons. You've got too many weapons. You should not be where you're at right now. I know you Steelers fans agree. This should not be happening for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Ruth Thatcher Rice says, be safe. Those were to the guys. Of course, if you missed it, we had our first ever live on camera road trip being done by two of our great listeners, two of my friends as well, Randy and of course Tony, tuning in live on the road trip down to West Virginia to watch Rhode Island and West Virginia. Of course, a nice road trip that they're taking. They chimed in, and a big Steelers fan that Tony is, he was giving his heart out. He said, look, Mike Tomlin, poor clock management, doesn't know how to use his timeout. It's crazy, man. I think, look at Phil, my man Phil Fly. My guy, you trying to get a black man fired on one hand and slandering the Raiders on the next? Knock it off. That's my man Phil Fly. Of course, longtime friend with Phil. First of all, I like the Raiders. I never had a problem with the Raiders. And I have you being one of my black friends. First of all, I don't want a black man to lose his job. I'm the last guy to say that. No way. One of my favorite coaches in the NFL right now is a black man. That's Anthony Lynn for the LA Chargers, who should be coach of the year, by the way. And who thought the Chargers would be where they're at right now? They look good, man. And I'll tell you what, that win against Kansas City on Thursday is such a big victory for the Chargers that can catapult them to being a top team in the AFC, maybe even make a Super Bowl push. So I don't think that the Raiders, that I'm knocking the Raiders too much. I'm just saying they won a game last week as a 10-point dog when this Raiders team a couple of weeks ago was saying we're playing for draft picks, right? That was a big upset last week to beat Pittsburgh the way they did. I'm just saying this Steelers team, right, should not be where they're at right now. Can anybody disagree with me on that? No. Everybody thinks they should be better than 7-5-1. Everybody. Lamar Jackson is leading the Ravens to possibly overtaking the Steelers to win the division. That's pathetic. Pathetic. But you heard Joe's thoughts. He said if they lose today, he can't fire him tomorrow. He earned them enough respect. You see that in the NFL. This isn't college football. This isn't college basketball. As much as I love college sports, Mike Tomlin will not be fired tomorrow if they lose to the Patriots today. But he should be fired eventually. That he's ruining this Pittsburgh Steelers team. Hands down.
Question for you. Even if they did fire him today.
Yeah.
Who are they going to hire?
Well, they'll put an interim. They'll put an interim coach, one of their assistant coaches, who I think their defensive coordinator is trash. But they should put in a guy. They'll put in an interim, and then they'll go out and try to get somebody next year. That's what they'll do. And I think Mike Tomlin, if this team does not make the playoffs, there is no doubt about it he gets let go in the offseason. I mean, you heard Elias say it earlier. Let go of your loyalty. Let go of your ties to a guy like Mike Tomlin. You've only had, a handful of coaches your whole franchise. For Pittsburgh to have all these weapons, I just keep coming back to it. With Antonio Brown, best wide receiver in the NFL, arguably. All right, you had a running game that didn't skip a beat, even when Le'Veon Bell decided to keep to hold out, keep his cool, and pay all that money out for his holdout. They have two tight ends, a 2-tight-end system that's working pretty damn well. I mean, they have like 5 tight ends, but two really good tight ends in McDonald and Jesse James. They've got a veteran quarterback who's won them a Super Bowl in Big Ben. Okay, so for me, I think Pittsburgh, very disappointing team. Very disappointing team this year. Who's more disappointed? I'm trying to figure this out. I'm sitting here this morning. I'm watching Premier League soccer, and I'm trying to figure out who the hell is more disappointing, the Philadelphia Eagles or the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's where I'm at on December 16, 2018. Isn't that a damn shame? Or the New York Giants, too. And all these fucking teams in the area. All of them. And the Jets.
Do you know what it comes down to? He can still be a great coach. It's just his game plan is off.
Yeah, and that's what you heard from Tony.
What?
Yeah, that's what you heard from Tony.
If you don't change your game plan, your playbook, something.
Clock management.
Like you said, if you got all the weapons and everything.
You do. That's the thing.
Do the math. Something's wrong.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm trying to say, Joe. Like
2 and 2 don't equal 6.
Exactly. Something's steering this team in a wrong way. You lose a game like that to Oakland, and today you got. It's not like you come back today and you've got the Bengals, who are in just totally in a total mess, right? You lose a game to Oakland knowing that you play New England today. I'm very big, and of course we're gonna get to the GodfatherLocks.com pick segment, right? I'm gonna backtrack for I'm a guy that says look ahead spots, right? Teams that look ahead always get caught looking, right? You see it. There's a team today that is possibly looking ahead. I've got the pick of all picks today, Joe. I got a break. We got a record number of listeners today. I don't know if people feel that I'm just juiced up. I got a record number of listeners on the show right now. I got a free pick today that is going to knock everybody's head. People's heads are going to roll in about 3 minutes. Okay? If you follow GodfatherLocks.com, we're absolutely on fire. For the last 2 months, I think I've had one bad week in the last 8 weeks of my life right now with the website. So we're going to talk about the free pick. I've got a free pick that's going to shock a lot of people on the show, but are going to knock people's socks off here on the program. Joe says breaking news came out today. Nick Foles will be a free agent after the season. Question, which team will take his talents to? Not really concerned about that right now. I'm not concerned about Nick Foles. Nick Foles has a chance. Now, how about this statistic? Not statistic. How about this nugget, okay? I look at it and say, Nick Foles in the same situation that he was in last year. How ironic is this? That Nick Foles is starting in LA today, where he took over for Carson Wentz. And what did Nick Foles do last year? He won him a Super Bowl. Came in on week 14 against the LA Rams, and the Philadelphia Eagles made their run. I'm not trying to say that the Philadelphia Eagles are going to make another run at the Super Bowl or even make the playoffs. I know they're pretty much down to like 20% to try to make the playoffs, even though the Vikings stink and that 6th seed is wide open to anybody. I mean, the Giants might even get that 6th seed at this point, the way they're playing. But I look at it and I say, Nick Foles, hey, win a game tonight. Go out there and beat the LA Rams, who are coming off of a loss against the Chicago Bears, who I may add, yes, remember last week at Big Barry Joe? Bears. What did they do? They got a big win. We're going to get to, I'm juiced for the free pick segment because I'm mentioning teams that I'm involved with today. We'll get to in a minute. All right. Chargers are a sleeper team. I agree. My man, Matthew Salite tuning in, I think for the first time. Matt, big shout out to Matthew Salite, one of my old time friends, of course. Family, always good to see family and friends on the show. Wish I had that hair. Nice beard too, of course. So it wasn't from Albert, it was from Matt today with the hair comment. I think you have nice hair too. My hair is okay, but it's not legendary. I got to go for the John Stamos look. That's my new thing. Right? Why not? I don't know.
You got Rebecca Romaine?
Oh man, crazy. Love you, Matt Salite. Matt Salite says, how about them Cowboys? And also says, go ahead and say it, Tampa Bay. That is not the free pick of all free picks today. I will get to it in a second. Anthony Santos, my man Anthony, back in the day from my middle school, longtime friend as well, from middle school, high school. Anthony says, let's go Pittsburgh. We definitely need this win. Ease comes in, says Steelers can beat anyone. They play down to their opponents, and Tomlin is a coordinator at best right now. His head coaching days are over. You talk about a disgruntled Steelers fan. You just saw one right here. And I think for him, for Ease and for Tony and for all these guys that are Pittsburgh Steelers fans, they are sick and tired, Joe, of seeing Mike Tomlin and seeing this face on the sideline. Like you just said, the game plan, right? Questionable game plan, questionable time management. You just lost to Oakland knowing that you've got New England today. I can't get over the subject. I mean, I asked Steelers fans what's wrong with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I've had a great response. And I love it. I love what I'm saying right now. Ted on the Mixer app says Matt Salite is looking for you to set his fantasy lineup, and your pick is the Packers. No, the Packers are one of my second picks. Let's get into the GodfatherLocks.com free picks. I mean, damn it, you guys are buying me. I'm trying to stretch this as far as I could. What is this comment right now? Lena says, "Are you saying I'm Rebecca Romaine?" Thanks, Joe. Wow.
Yes, I am.
Yes, Lana, he is. Let's get back to scheduling program information. The Godfather Locks. No, I'm kidding. Just totally joking. GodfatherLocks.com pick segment. All right. Everybody's waiting for it. Let's hold off on the big one of the day. My first free pick of the day, to all my Dallas Cowboys fans out there, the fun has stopped. The fun will end today in Indianapolis. I love the Indianapolis Colts today. I love it not as much as my big free pick of the day, but I love the Indianapolis Colts -3 at home. Did you not watch Andrew? I know you love Andrew Luck, Joe. Andrew Luck and the Colts last week against Houston, winning that game on the road against a Texans team that won 8-9 games in a row. And Andrew Luck goes down to Houston, beats them in Reliant Stadium, beats them on their turf. This Colts team is on a tear. Other than Miami, I mean, Houston, they got outclassed. But other than Miami a couple of weeks ago, when they played them in Indy, Miami gave them their best shot, right? Miami gave them their best shot. They were a 9-point favorite that game. They only won by a field goal, walk-off field goal by my man Adam Vinatieri. I'm taking the Colts -3 as I gain a lot of hatred from Dallas Cowboys fans right now. I take the Colts -3. I will lay it. I will go Indianapolis -3. That's my first free pick. Ted nailed the second free pick. I love Green Bay today +5. I had Chicago last week, right? Sunday Night Football. I told you to take the Bears. I had everybody at Beef Baron calling me nuts. I got Abe, the fine owner at Beef Baron. Shout out to Beef Baron, of course, off of Cotasacqua Road in Allentown, PA, where we did a great live show last week. I talked to Abe off the air. His brother's like, dude, why do you like the Bears? I said I would put I said it on air, didn't I? Put $1 million on the Bears if I could. I'd put my house up for sale on the Bears. They won outright. It was a nasty game. There was 6 interceptions thrown in the game, but the Bears got it done. Now, why did I like the Bears last week? Because I knew LA would come back and beat the Eagles this week, and I also knew that the Packers were one of my free picks last week, and they're going to beat them today. I think the Bears, if they don't lose the game outright, they're not winning by more than 5. I'm taking Green Bay because you saw the Packers offense last week looking as great as the Packers offense can look. They fired their coach, and what happens after you fire your coach? You win the game the next week. Some crazy statistic that after you fire your coach, that team responds extremely well, winning some 80% of the time. So a big shout out to the Packers last week. I'll take the Packers +5 against the Chicago Bears. So Indianapolis -3, Green Bay +5, and the lock of all locks today. I mean, if I would have bet $1 million last week, Joe, what would that have gotten me? $1 million back? So it would put me $2 million in chips and play money?
Yeah, well, depending on the odds.
I mean, if I would have taken them on the money line, I probably would have had $2.5 million, or $2.2 million. So you take $1 million in chips, you put it on Chicago last week, they win. You give me the $2.2 million today, I will take the San Francisco 49ers to beat the Seattle Seahawks at home in San Fran. And I'll tell you what, I don't even have to watch. +3.5. I don't think I'm on the money line. +3. Who the hell is making that line in San Francisco? Did you not see them drop 40 points against the same squad 2 weeks ago? Seattle put up 40 some odd points in Seattle against San Fran. I know San Francisco just beat Denver. I know Nick Mullins looks like he's all of a sudden an NFL quarterback. I will take the 49ers +3.5 because the Seahawks are looking ahead. You know who the Seahawks play next week? Kansas City. All right? Kansas City's limping after that loss on Thursday against the Chargers. That's a big game next week for Seattle. They kind of have that 5th seed locked up, right? The Seahawks are in that 5th spot. Do they really want to play the Niners today? Do they really need this game today? Do they? Ask yourself that question before you put your picks in. Whether you're driving to Penn National, or you're driving to the Sugar House Casino, or you're down at Oceans and AC, or you text the bookie that you know, or you go on an illegal website. I don't care what you do. Before you say, this is free money. There is no such thing as free money. There is no such thing as free money, because when you look at the NFL, as crazy and as absurd as this league is, you look at that line, any public or average bettor is going to sit there and say, well, the Seahawks should smash the San Francisco 49ers. They only got to win by 4. Yeah, I'll take San Fran, and I will take my $2 million in chips. Biggest pick of the day, San Fran +3.5. I love the Packers at +5, and I love Indy at -3. That's 3-0 right there. The same way we went 3-0 in college football yesterday, taking Eastern Michigan against +3, Fresno State, and of course Appalachian State, who won by 30, 40 some odd points. I don't even remember I don't remember what the final score was. I just know I went 3-0.
I went 2-0 with some wings from Beef Baron yesterday.
Oh, you went back to Beef Baron. Yeah. How about that? One of my finest. Their wings are awesome, man. Very underrated wings. Their food is phenomenal. I don't just say this because they're a sponsor of the show. We'll be back there in playoff weekend. We'll be back there maybe for the championship games or the divisional round or one of those playoff weekends. We're going to go back for a Sunday, especially when there's only 1 or 2 games on. It's easier to watch than watching. What are we doing here? This is across the board sports talk show. It is an interactive sports talk show, better than any radio show you're going to hear on your dial, better than B104, better than Q102. Do people even listen to local radio like that anymore for music? Everything's on your iPad or your iPod.
It depends who you work for and where you're stuck at.
And you can't get the signal going on. But I feel like everybody's got that little gadget in their car. I have it, the USB port.
Oh, yeah.
You just plug in your YouTube, your phone, and your iPad, and I don't know. It's 2018. But if you're still listening to local radio and you're still listening to your dial, tune off, listen to us on Across the Board Sports Talk Show every Saturday and Sunday from 10:30 to noon. It is an interactive sports show. I'd love your comments. What did we talk about to start the show? It's 11:30, so I want to reset. Before we get to fantasy football, of course, the fantasy football segment brought to you by the law offices of Albert Yakub. You can visit and call my man Albert in Allentown at 610-437-2185. Visit Yakub Law. That's YACOUBLAW.com. If anybody's out there right now that can give me a live score on Manchester United versus Liverpool, I would appreciate it, because I don't want to branch off my my Facebook app on my iPad. Can somebody give me a live score update on the Manchester United Liverpool game that's happening right now? I'm calling out all the shots. If anybody can go to ESPN or go to the Sportacular app, the game started about 30 minutes ago. I'd like a score update, please. You would think I have a ticker down in my undisclosed location, which we've looked into, and it costs. I need to take the 49ers for $2 million to get a ticker here live in my basement. Big shout out to Albert, who is saying, "Are you taking your show to Oregon when you go on vacation?" Who says I'm going to Oregon? Who says I'm going to Oregon? That's a question right there. Matthew Salit says 1-0 Liverpool. Damn right, Matt. My man Mohamed Salah with a goal, I'm assuming, or maybe even James Milner. All right, no one knows what I'm talking about when it comes to Premier League soccer. But I will get back to fantasy football. I led this show about Carson Wentz, okay? And I talked about Carson Wentz. And I know Albert right now is probably scratching his head, Joe, about that comment, right?
Oh, yeah.
I said, who do I think? Who said I'm going to Oregon? I mean, who knows? Who knows? Who knows where I'll be in the next couple of days or next week or so. I look at it and I say to myself, with this Carson Wentz situation, right? I led the show with it. I've had a lot of feedback on Carson Wentz off the air. We talked about Carson Wentz at full discussion about his broken vertebrae, a fractured vertebrae. As I asked the audience here in the beginning, what is the difference between a fracture and a break? I've got a lawyer on my show. I don't have a doctor. I should go to Lehigh Valley Hospital or St. Luke's to get a sponsorship. Laura said no difference, and she is a certified, in my opinion, best health providers, care person you could ask, even if she just deals with the heart part of it. I would go to Laura for anything. And the other day, my blood pressure was like 200 and something. I had to ask her what the hell's going on. So she's my own personal doctor. That's my sister. I don't have a doctor to tell me, the difference between a fracture and a break. Sadio Mane scored. All right, even better. The great Sadio Mane for Liverpool puts him up 1-0. But I don't know what the difference is. All I know is Carson Wentz, and Laura said there is no difference. So a fracture or a break, the guy's hurt. The guy's hurt, right, Joe? Would you throw out a quarterback that just came off of an ACL injury last year? You win a Super Bowl without him, okay? He may or may not be 100% right away. Carson Wentz is a gamer. He's a competitor. He's a warrior. He knows that he needed to come back, okay? He knows that he needed to come back. Would you have rushed him back as soon as he did? I say no. I've said no all year. And I said, what did it get you anyways? You're 6-7.
The thing is, we had this discussion many moons ago. And we said, you can't rush him back.
No.
If you rush him back, things are going to happen. Mm-hmm. So you know why he has a fractured rib or broken rib?
Fractured vertebrae, yeah.
Because he came back from a knee injury that's not 100% healed. Mm-hmm. So when he goes to move out of the way before a 300-pound man hits him, he can't move fast enough, therefore leading to a fractured rib.
There you go.
So let the man recover fully.
I agree.
Nick Foles got you.
I agree. Don't let him be a free agent. Well, here's a question for you. Here's a question for the audience as well.
You're not going to see a Super Bowl for another 30 years.
Oh, exactly. If he's banged up. This is a question for the audience as well. Would Nick Foles have done anything different than what Carson Wentz did this year? That's my secondary question about this Eagles stuff. Would Nick Foles have done any better than a 6-7 team this year? If you can honestly sit there and say to yourself, yes, all right, then you would be for him starting. If you can sit there and say no, you would still be for him starting because he didn't do anything. Carson Wentz didn't reinvent the wheel this year. He didn't go 10-3, right? So if you had to let him rest, get him fully healed, start him for next year, okay, you would have been 6-7. Are the Eagles going to make the playoffs? There's a 21% chance they make the playoffs. Are they going to make the playoffs? No, probably not. So what did you end up getting? A banged up, even more injured Carson Wentz. Now you're getting the listeners, you're getting fans. And my man Hetty's turning a big Eagles fan as well. Shout out to Hetty. Alcohol tuning in. If you want to give your comments on Carson Wentz, I'd always appreciate an Eagles comment on it. But now you're getting Eagles fans saying, should we sign him to a deal? Should we give this guy money? Even he's now showing that he's very banged up. He's very injury prone. This is the question you have to ask now. Okay, tears his ACL, fractured vertebrae. What's it next? He's going to tear his rotator cuff? What's going to happen to Carson Wentz when this continues to add up? These injuries continue to add up. Now you're scared as Eagles fans.
You know I don't like the Eagles.
I know you're a Giants fan.
But going off of business,
yeah,
you're going to let Nick Foles become a free agent. Someone's going to pick him up. That's loss number
100%.
Loss number 1.
Yeah, 100%. That's guaranteed.
Because you already showed that you don't have faith in him.
Guaranteed. There's tons of teams that need quarterbacks.
You got a dynasty quarterback that's banged up because of your fault, because you didn't let him fully recover.
Exactly.
You're going to not pay him and get rid of him.
Exactly.
Mistake number 2. Someone's going to pick him up.
Well, here's the thing, Joe.
And then both these guys are going to end up taking those teams to Super Bowls, and you're going to be like, fuck.
Yeah,
back to square one.
Well, the thing is, Carson Wentz isn't going anywhere, which makes it even more of a reason why they should have rested him this year. Because this is your franchise quarterback. Okay? This is your franchise quarterback. I mean, you just can't. I mean, as much as, okay, if I work for you, Joe, right, and I'm banged up and I need the money to feed my kids, okay? So I always like to compare analogies to us on the show. And I come to you and say, look, I'm really hurt. I know I got a workman's comp situation going on, but I got to get back to work. I need to feed my family. What are you going to tell me? And I'm one of your best employees. What are you going to tell me? Stay at home.
No, you're going on light duty.
Okay, so you would do that.
Yeah,
all right, well,
sit behind
light duty,
and push paper.
Light duty in the NFL, you're a backup quarterback.
You're a backup quarterback.
There goes I just crashed the pen. It's just
you're
broken
gonna,
out.
You're going to run plays. You're going helmet and jersey only, shoulder pads. That's
Exactly.
Not full gear.
You're a backup quarterback. If something were to happen to Nick Foles, we would bring you in. I don't think I'm looking at his hindsight, because if you follow the show and if you follow Across the Board Sports Talk Show, I don't think I've been wavering at all. I've been ripping Carson Wentz into shreds the last couple of weeks. I've told you guys, this guy, if you're freaking healthy, start playing like it. Start showing me something. He doesn't look the same. Matt Salite says if he wasn't ready, they wouldn't have let him play. Let's be serious. They held him a few games. Don't forget. Matt, I'm not arguing that he wasn't clear to play. Okay, I'm telling you that. Look at the reports. Did they not know?
Cleared and then there's ready.
But exactly, you can be cleared, but are you ready? It's a good point. I'm not saying that if he wasn't ready, they weren't going to let him play. I know that. I'm not stupid. I'm saying you look at the Eagles and say, was he banged up throughout the year? Did he have a problem throughout the year? This is Across the Board Sports Talk Show. We've got about 20 plus minutes left on the show. Record number of listeners today. Right or wrong, Joe? Look at the numbers are moving right now. Big show today. I knew today was going to be big. A lot of stuff on the table. Give me your thoughts on Patriots Steelers. Who needs the game more? Is it the Patriots off of the Miami miracle that I'm seeing people talking about right now? Miami knocking off the Patriots. You don't want to play Tom Brady and Bill Belichick off of a loss? Is it the Pittsburgh Steelers who took a horrible loss last week to Oakland? I say Pittsburgh needs this game. Pittsburgh needs a win more than any team in the league today, period. This iPad doesn't stay up. I got to get a better case. The Pittsburgh Steelers need a win bigger than any team in the NFL today. Am I saying something out of the realm of freaking possible? Am I saying something crazy? Big shout out to Demaya, Jason, Tiff, everybody listening in right now. Diane, Ahmed, Thomas, Milad, everybody. Anthony, Joe, Matt, everybody tuning in. Give me your thoughts. Who needs this game more? You know what I mean? Matt says Ben's ribs. I'm scared. This is coming from a Cowboys fan. If the guy's banged up, okay, he's banged up. Right?
Yeah.
He's banged up. Then put your trust in Dobbs as a backup. And that's another thing. You go out, get yourself a vet. This is what the Eagles had. The Eagles had a quarterback in Nick Foles backing up Carson Wentz, who's won you a Super Bowl, who's a veteran quarterback. This is why you've got a quarterback like Nick Foles backing up Carson Wentz. You don't got a guy like Dobbs backing up Ben who has issues. Get yourself a veteran backup. Like Eli Manning's got no backups. These guys suck. Right? He's Alex Taney. You don't even know who Alex Taney is. He might be selling you groceries at the local supermarket. You don't even know who he is. Get yourself a great backup quarterback. That's all I'm saying. They didn't do it. Pittsburgh didn't do it. Ben's got bad ribs. They need this game 100%. Hetty says Pittsburgh 100%. I agree. Okay? At Saints, what is that? Oh, it's 100%. Pittsburgh 100%. Pats at Saints. I don't know what that makes. I don't know if that reads very well. Pats. Anyways, it's over. Pats won't lose. Matt Salite says Pats won't lose. Are they going to lose 2 in a row? How about throw this out here right now? If you look at the history of the Patriots, I need a statistician to get me this nugget. What are the New England Patriots off of a loss with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick? I'm sure somebody on NFL Network has this. I'm sure somebody on ESPN has this. What is they have Pats at Saints. That's right. Pittsburgh has okay, I got you, Hetty. Pittsburgh has New England, then they go to New Orleans next week. You talk about murderers row. Another reason, I didn't even look past this week. Another reason why you can't lose to Oakland last week, right? You've got the Patriots and the Saints, and then you lose to Oakland? Can someone get that statistic? I'm calling out. I got to ask for a Liverpool-Manchester United score, and Matt Salite came in the clutch. Can somebody tell me what the Patriots are straight up after New England loses a game under Belichick and Brady? I can only imagine they're probably like an 85% win clip. Oh, yeah. I don't even think they've. I don't even know if they lost 2 in a row.
I might even say 95%.
Not some 90s, right? I don't even think they lost 2 in a row. I'd love to get that. I want to see what that is. I mean, what that's going to be. Welcome in the show, Kevin Azar, big Cowboys fan, says Luck is going to nail us today. I agree. If you missed the GodfatherLocks.com pick segment at 11:15, we said Colts -3, Packers +5, and the biggest pick of all, San Francisco +3.5. Right? Those are the big. Hey, put the mortgage on the Niners today. You will not be mistaken. You will not be upset.
In other news,
don't put the mortgage on. I
the price
take that back.
stock for Campbell Soup has gone down since Dak Prescott became the.
Oh, how about that? That's a nugget for Kevin. Kevin, the stock for Campbell's Soup has gone down since Dak Prescott. I mean, Dak Prescott's commercials are funny as hell. That's not a surprise. Remember when Donovan McNabb used to do that? All right, Ted's got the stat. All right, Steelers, his first opinion says Steelers lose today. Now my screen went black. All right, Steelers lose today. They won't even make the playoffs. They play the Saints next week. Look at this stat. The Patriots are 33-6 following a loss. That is 33 out of 39 games.
I say about 95.
I don't have my calculator. Is that like 80? Is it 80 to 87 is my guess? 33, something. I don't know. I can't do the math right now.
Like a B+ rating.
B+. 33-6. Good God. 33-6. And they lost back-to-back games this year in week 2 and 3. Yes, you are correct. I remember that. They started out 1-2, New England. So that just happened this year with the Patriots. Can it happen 2 times in 1 year? So now you're asking for a full moon, right? If you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, you're asking for this defense to all of a sudden wake up, okay? The Pittsburgh Steelers defense. Shut down Tom Brady and the running game now for New England, which has been their strong suit. They've become a more balanced offense. And then you're asking for the Patriots to lose back-to-back games for the second time in the same season. Wow. All right. Albert says everyone is tuning in because of your hair. Of course, Albert, he's obsessed with he's obsessed with my hair. He's obsessed with my hair. I love it though, but he's obsessed with my hair. Albert, of course, from the law office is Albert Yacoub, 610-437-2185. Problem with the DUI, drug offense, violent offense. Call up my man Albert for a free consultation. He's given the love for the hair. My man Phil Fly says 40-14 since 2003. So there you go, Ted. An updated stat right there. 40-14 since that's 15 seasons. You've lost out of 54 games. You've won 40 of them off of the law. That's pretty good, man. I mean, you talk about how many teams in the NFL have lost 2, 3, 4 games in a row in their franchise. The Patriots are 40-14 since 2003. Chad Lahoo. Big shout out to Chad, new listener to the show. Big shout out to you, Chad. Big Ben, Brown, and Samuels, all big games today. So Chad's predicting a Steelers victory on the wire. Kevin, 29-10 Colts beat the Cowboys. I kind of agree with that score. I don't think the Cowboys are going to do much offensively today. I got a bad feeling about this Cowboys game today at 1 o'clock. I think a lot of Cowboys fans are going to be coming back down to earth come 4 o'clock Eastern. Now, I will say this. If they go into Indy and beat the Colts and do what they've done the last how many weeks, big shout out to the Cowboys. They're all of a sudden a Super Bowl contender. And I mean that with all my heart. Because this Colts team is on a mission.
You know, honestly,
Cowboys make a Super Bowl run?
If I'm the Cowboys, I go take it old school, smash mouth, I formation football, run it right down the
That's
throats.
what they've been doing.
All right?
Yeah.
And then my secondary, I put all my top notch on the secondary to shut down the airstrike.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, what does Andrew have?
Well, yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. But he's been playing very well recently. And they hey,
Big Ben, if Big Ben plays today, and I'm
Ben's going to need a good game, man.
And I'm on the opposite side,
yeah.
I'm going blitz all day, baby.
They should, because if he's got a bad rib, you know what that means.
I'm going blitz all day.
That's it.
All
That's
day.
it. And the Patriots will. The Patriots know what they're doing. Jeffrey says Niners win outright. I agree. If you've heard the show, tuned in. Biggest pick of the day today, guys. And I'll tell you what. For me, I don't know what else to say. The stats speak for themselves, right, Joe? I mean, I know I self-promote myself. I'm a sales guy. I'm all that hoopla and all that side. That's what I do. I have the show. I've got the website.
You're too passionate, Joe.
I'm very. You see that this has been my best show of the year, hands down. Shout out to everybody. This is the most interactive show. This has been, and I like to blow things out of proportion a lot. Like if I go out to eat and I eat a dozen wings and it's the best wings of my life, I will say this is the best wings I've ever had. Like for instance, yesterday I had a chicken Caesar salad. It was the best fucking chicken Caesar salad I've ever had.
Damn.
Okay? Very passionate. That's my goal in life, is to be very passionate. George says...
Was it a commercial place or mom and pop?
No, it was a mom and pop place that I ate the chicken Caesar salad. It's a nice little sports bar area that I was watching a bowl game or two, and I had a nice chicken Caesar salad. Where the chicken was, I'm telling you, it was phenomenal. Best chicken Caesar salad I've ever had. And I cannot mention who it is. Can Foles do it again? That's coming from my man George, diehard Eagles fan. I'll answer it 2 ways. Yes, he can. No, he won't. That's the best way to put it. Can he? Sure. I mean, I could win $1 million playing a lottery and a scratch-off ticket, but will I? Probably not. So I look at it as I think he can do it because he already proved he can do it. Can anybody knock Nick Foles for what he did? Can anybody knock Nick Foles for what he did last year? No. He's got the Super Bowl ring. What makes this ironic is that the Eagles and this situation, Nick Foles is coming into the Rams in Week 14 the same way he did last year against when Carson Wentz got down. He came in against the Rams. Think about how ironic that is, Joe. The last time Nick Foles took over for Carson Wentz, he went on a Super Bowl run. It started against LA. So I'm down to see it. I'll be happy to see it. No, if I was a betting man, no way am I taking the Rams or Eagles game today. I will not bet it. I'll watch it. It's simple as that. Matt says, damn, that hurts, Joe. That's in correspondence to the Cowboys prediction. I just don't see it today. I love Indianapolis today. I love them. I love Indy. I mean, Indy -3 is gold. These 3 NFL picks today, 3-0. If I don't go 3-0 today, I'm buzzing my hair. How about that? Let Albert know about that. This game today for Dallas is in a really tough spot. I think Indianapolis at home, Colts needed Andrew Luck. He can make plays against that defense. You talk about the Eagles last week. Cowboys were very beatable last week. We went into overtime. You saw the Cowboys, big 4th and 1, right? Running it with Ezekiel Elliott. It's going to be tough against Indy today. I would think the Colts get a big win today. Colts need it more.
So will we be
today? That's how confident that I am in the Niners. Again, 3-0 in college football yesterday with 3 bowl game victories. Fresno State, Eastern Michigan, Appalachian State. Biggest pick of the day, North Carolina in college basketball. The site has been humming. No wonder, because I don't gamble anymore.
Air?
I don't gamble anymore. On air.
I'm stuck on hair.
On air. If the Niners don't cover 3.5, I will buzz my hair on air.
Because you know your wife's going to choke you, right?
No, I don't care. This is what the show's all about. You talk about passion. This is passion. Okay?
Well, I think the other hair model is online, too.
I do see Ronnie online. My man Ronnie, of course. Yes, Ronnie is a big supporter of the show. And, of course, from the Wooden Match 61 West, Lehigh Street in Bethlehem. We watched the Cowboys-Eagles game together last week. And, it was disappointing to see that outcome. And I led the show. Great segue. I love it.
Albert's jealous of his hair, too.
Oh, yeah, of course. Who wouldn't be? We got the good genes. But I reset the show about this Eagles stuff, is that it's a great segue talking about the Eagles and Cowboys again. And George says, I agree, right? Saying about that Nick Foles, yeah, sure, he can do it. Ronnie says, hi, guys. Hello, Ronnie. He says he can do it, but will he do it? And I say no. I say Nick Foles, for me, he did something for me. He did something that was historic last year. Right? Historic run, Philadelphia Eagles, big push, right? Big Super Bowl run that nobody thought was coming, and he did it. He pulled the freaking thing out. Nobody thought he could do it, okay? It's just ironic. I even texted Ronnie this the other day. How ironic is it that he's going back to LA, that we're going to see the GOAT killer? This is Ronnie's boy. He loves Nick Foles. The GOAT killer coming in against the Rams to save their season. If it's a 12.5-point underdog, if the Eagles beat the Rams, I'll be shell-shocked, as most of America would be today. Look, to see them go into LA and win that game today.
You know what?
To see them go into LA and win that game today.
You know what Eagles fans got to do?
Yeah.
A letter to the Eagles establishment and force them to find that damn playbook from last year.
Yeah.
You go find.
Well, I don't think the playbook changed though. The playbook didn't change. It was the Q. It's the offensive coordinator. It's the QB that's banged up. They've got similar weapons banged up. They've got similar weapons healthy now. They don't have a running game.
Somebody changed the system. Somebody changed something. Find that playbook.
Yeah.
Well, and Eagles are going to get another ring.
They will. Here's the thing. I think they will get another ring if Carson Wentz can get his shit together and stay healthy. I think they will. I don't look. This season's over for Philadelphia. Okay, it's over. I'm stating the obvious, like John Madden. Okay, John Madden used to say, get the ball for Favre and the turducken and all that. I could be as straight as straight. Right. The season's over for Philadelphia. They're not going to win tonight. My question to start the show was, should Wentz be shut down for the year? Yes. Should he ever come out? No. He should have never came out on the field. They should have went with Nick Foles. What would have been different? Would Nick Foles have had a different outcome on this team being 6-7? That was a question I posed. Would he have impacted this team differently for them not to be 6-7 right now? If you say yes or no, the answer is still the same. You shouldn't have started Carson Wentz because he's not better than 6-7. And if he was, then you're playing with house money again. Then you got a guy who beat Tom Brady, who's a Super Bowl champion, and now you're in the playoffs with the same guy who led you to a Super Bowl. The only downside would have been you're left with a quarterback controversy. That would have been the only downside. Some heat going on, some battling going on the Facebook app, of course, with Albert, the fake hair model, calling out Ronnie. Ronnie calls him the fake lawyer. And Albert says, I'm a lawyer in real life. You are not a hair model in real life. Joe Eunice is the hair model. Matt Salit says, been over, right? So he's saying that it's over for the Eagles. And I think, It has been over, as it was over last week. I think the walk-off touchdown by Dallas did it for Philadelphia. But again, I just think it should have went with Nick Foles a little longer. I didn't foresee a broken vertebrae. Nobody saw him get it. But Joe put it right, and I think this is really well said. If you got a torn ACL, you're not only if it's still not fully healed, and the doctors cleared him and all that hoopla. Okay, you're also he's playing tight. You know he's not going to make those same plays. You know there's something going on mentally with the quarterback that's going to take a hit to the back. That's going to take a hit to the ribs, right? Don't tell me he's not scared. He's playing scared, damn it. He's playing scared. You see it in his eyes, man. You see it in the play calling. You see it in the team. He does not look like the Carson Wentz that we all saw. He doesn't.
Every athlete, and I've played with some good ones that went on to play in college and further.
Yeah.
Every athlete is scared, or should I say, is not scared of taking hits and doing all kinds of crazy moves on the field, on and off, until they get hurt.
Exactly.
Once they get that one injury, it's a wrap. You can either come back from it or you play scared.
I agree. And he's playing scared.
Yeah. No.
He is playing scared.
Especially, he's got money on the line.
100%. He's got a career on the line. But I'm not doubting that he wasn't cleared. I think that's why I want to make myself to clarify. He was cleared. Okay, he was cleared. But that's not, for me, I don't think that you could say he's cleared, but do you really want to, like, the competitor in him is going to say, I'm physically cleared by the doctors, but I still think you should have held him on the shelf a little longer. All right, Chad says, do you think the team can rally around the Super Bowl MVP knowing what he is capable of? Unlikely, but it could happen. I said it earlier. Absolutely happens. It could happen. Absolutely, it could happen. I don't foresee it happening until they win today. If they win today, if Nick Foles goes into LA, right? I always say if, but this is the nature of the beast. If my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle. We've said that on the show a million times. But if they go into LA, and I see Matt Salite just took the words out of my mouth. If Philadelphia beats LA in LA, they're going to the playoffs. They will win the next 2 games. They'll beat Houston, and they will beat the Redskins in Week 17. They will finish 9-7. But that's a tall task. You're beating a Rams team. It's just as big as beating a Rams team off of a loss to the Bears as it is for the Steelers to beat the Patriots off of a loss to the Dolphins. It's the same It's the same thing. The Steelers are going to have a hard time beating New England today, right? Who just lost to Miami. That the same way the Eagles are going to have it against the LA Rams, who just lost to the Bears, if that makes any sense. So big, tall order for Nick Foles today and the Eagles to do it on the road in Sunday Night Football. But absolutely, Chad, it can. Ronnie says it can see it happen. We talked about it via text the other day, saying, dude, he could do it again. He can get a big victory. He can lead them to 3 straight wins. Now you have, if this happens, if they go 9-7, right? They win the next 3 games. He beats them in the Rams. You know what Eagles fans are going to be saying. You know what Eagles fans are going to be saying tomorrow on local radio. If the Eagles beat the Rams tonight, you know what they're going to be saying. We should have went with Foles in the beginning, right? You know they're going to say that. You know they're going to be out calling for it.
Didn't I say this last year? One of the biggest mistakes they did was get rid of Nick Foles, and then they brought him back.
Yeah, of course.
Come on,
yeah,
man.
of course. He's good. He's decent. He's good.
I take him for the Giants.
And he's healthy, right?
Yep, I take him.
He's healthy, and that's coming from a Giants fan. He says big words. Phil says, I'm not paying Wentz some huge extension. He's got to prove his worth. Don't be in the same boat as my Raiders. 100% agree, Phil. Yep. 1,000,000% agree. I said it earlier. I wouldn't pay him an extension. I'd wait it out because I said it about an hour ago. The guy's got a bad ACL, right? He tore his ACL, broken vertebrae. He's battling injuries, man. He's battling injuries. Is he?
You're going on injury pay.
Exactly. Chill out. Matt Salite says, no defense, no win. I agree with that as well. Rams offense is high-powered. If the Eagles defense has struggled. They struggle against the run. I think Todd Gurley might run for 150 tonight. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. Ted's chiming in, says, this is ballsy in reference to my challenge. My San Francisco 49er plus 3.5 pick of the day. If they do not cover the 3.5, I will be buzzing my hair on air. Okay? That's a fact. I will be buzzing my hair on air. Whether tomorrow or in the next week or so, I will be buzzing my hair on air. This will happen. I will go back to my old school buzzed haircut within the next week or so. Damn. How about that bold prediction? And here's the thing. I'm so confident that even if the Niners cover the 3.5, Joe, what am I getting out of it? I'm just getting winners for the listeners. I'm not gaining. I stopped betting. The betting's gone for me. I don't wager anymore. So I take the buzz haircut. I'm not even giving. There's nothing for me to gain. GodfatherLocks.com is winning right now. So I have confidence in the pick. 3-0 in college football yesterday. Okay? Sure. Last 34 picks on the site, 23 victories. 23 out of my last 34. That's all I'm doing this for. If you missed it, GodfatherLocks.com free pick segment. Biggest pick of the day, San Francisco plus 3.5 over Seattle. Also like Green Bay plus 5 over the Bears, who I had big last week. Of course, Bears was my pick of the day. And then the Colts will beat the Cowboys. Those are my 3 free picks. Ronnie says Birds secondary needs to step up. Absolutely. Who's going to stop Jared Goff? Who? Malcolm Jenkins? They're gonna have to blitz the hell out of this team tonight for the LA Rams. Yeah, so someone's gonna have to shake this shit up today. Whether it's Nicky Foles, the GOAT killer, Nicky Six. Who's it gonna be? Ted says they have a practice squad secondary. I agree. I think it's gonna be a game where that Jared Goff and Todd Gurley should do everything successfully. They should be able to run the ball. They should be able to pass the ball.
You know what they need to do is take it back to how it was in high school. You know what? You got like 5 guys they want your position. You don't want to block, catch, pass, or anything.
Seriously.
Guess what? Number 2 was dying to take your spot.
Yeah. But the secondary is so beat up, Joe. The secondary is so beat up. I'm seeing guys comment right now. And Matt, how about that from Matt though?
I haven't seen a good secondary tackle in years.
Yeah, well, it doesn't happen anymore. If they try to make a tackle, it's legal contact to the head. Matt says donate the hair. I'm not going to lose, Matt. The Niners are going to cover the 3.5. But if I did lose, I'll donate it. How much could this get for somebody, right? I don't know.
Maybe
I mean, this could give something, right?
Some hair plugs?
I don't know. It's not like a woman's hair. A women's hair, that's different. Fantasy so we have some more comments. My thing's blowing up. Chad says D-line needs to get pressure on Goff. Schwartz needs to blitz high. Just said it, Chad. Welcome to the show, Chad. Maybe Chad wants to co-host one day. Chad nailing it. Yes, I do. I agree. I think they should blitz high. I think it makes sense to put some pressure on Jared Goff. Make him one-dimensional, right? Make him run the ball, try to close up the hole in running the ball. It's going to be a tough task. But the secondary is decimated. Hattie chiming in. The secondary is decimated. Let's see. Fantasy question. Alshon Jeffrey or Josh Reynolds? I would start Alshon Jeffrey because of the desperation of the Eagles. And look, the Rams secondary... the Rams, look at the game against Kansas City. I know it was the Kansas City offense, but the Rams have not proven to have the Rams front, right? The Rams front core is big. Once that ball's out, the ball's out. I think Alshon Jeffrey is a better start today for fantasy football. My man Saba Allen, welcome to the show, Saba. First comment of the year. Big shout out to Saba. Says, what about the Steelers game today? We talked about the Steelers game at length. Steelers Patriots. We've discussed it really for most of the show today. I think the Steelers obviously are in a tough spot, playing against New England in a game where you catch the Patriots off of a loss. It's really hard to do. I don't have a free pick on the game, but I'm going to go with Pittsburgh. All right, I'm going to go with Pittsburgh. I'm going to buck the trend. I'm going to buck the 40-14 since 2003. I think Pittsburgh somehow gets it done today. I'm not putting money on it. I'm not putting a pick on it. I'm just watching it for the just pure enjoyment of the game, knowing how big of a game it is in the AFC. I'm just watching it to watch it. So as a Pittsburgh Steeler fan, this is your season. Arguably, this could be the season right now. I just don't see the playoffs happening without Pittsburgh, whether it's the 6th seed or the division. I think Pittsburgh needs to get this boat, this ship fixed, right? Right the ship. I'm not picking against New England. I would never do it, right? I would never do it. And I would never bet against Tom Brady off of a loss. I would never bet against Bill Belichick off of a loss. There is a tall order for both Pennsylvania teams today. For me, with the Steelers and with the Eagles. I think the Steelers get it done. I think somehow they get it done. I think they send New England back to New England with a loss. They need this more. This could be a typical, you lose to Oakland, you got to play New England. No one's giving you a chance, right?
Yes, sir.
They could win. It's the NFL. Regardless of that. And Sam says, I like you, go Steelers. I appreciate it. Across the board sports talk show. This may have been the best show we've done yet. Right? I agree. If I say so myself. Patting myself on that. Not because of me, guys. Because of the comments, the Mixler app, the Facebook app, YouTube Live. We covered a lot. Carson Wentz. I thought they rushed him back too early. I've been very highly criticizing of him this year. I thought that Carson Wentz fell short in a lot of ways this year. Whether it's a fractured vertebrae or not, I think Carson Wentz sold his team short. I think he was very underachieving, very disappointing season for Carson Wentz this year. Big game for both teams today, Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. The free picks of the day, San Francisco, Green Bay, Indianapolis, the pick of all picks, San Francisco plus 3.5 against Seattle. If the Niners do not cover 3.5, I will buzz my hair. I don't think anybody wants to watch it on air, but we'll discuss that. I don't think I'm going to lose. Let's put it that way.
I don't know, but we are
gonna buzz it. We are gonna buzz it. Maybe at the cut. We'll go to the cut. If the Niners don't cover 3.5, I will buzz my hair live on camera on a Facebook Live app, something in the near future. And I look, I'm not gaining anything out of it, Joe. I'm not gaining anything out of it. No one's putting anything up. Cause it's how about let me put it 1 minute.
What? We should make Albert do it.
We should make Albert do it. But I want to ask this on the app. What
he loves you.
We got 1 minute, right? 1 minute. 1 minute left on the show. What's in it for me? If does anybody out there and think my Niners pick is so absurd that you want to tango with me? Put something up. Put something up, and we'll talk about it. I think the Niners are a great pick today. I really do. I think Seattle's looking ahead to the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think the Niners are in a good spot, plus 3.5 at home. I like the 49ers. 49ers, Packers, Colts, your free 3 picks. Big thank you to all my listeners. Phenomenal show today. I'm gassed. Officially, an hour and a half, no commercials. 2 sips of water. I've got an hour to rest before these games. Matt, thank you very much for listening in. Hope you listen every week. Great show to Joe I and the team. Thank you very much. Of course, new listeners. I always welcome new listeners to the program every day as much as possible. Download the podcast after the show goes off the air on the Mixler app, mixlr.com/Joe-Eunice. We got to keep the advertisers plugged away. Local businesses, Red Jewelers, located in Allentown, PA. 2 locations, 5248 Hamilton Boulevard in Allentown, 704 West Emmaus Ave in Allentown. Buy, sell, customize, repair your jewelry. JewelersLehighValley.com. Visit my man Red. Tell him I sent you. He takes care of everybody, but if you tell him Across the Board Sports Talk Show, he'll take care of you. Mention Ronnie's name as well. Tell him you know my brother. He'll take care of you even more because he loves us, by the way. Red's a great man. Red's a great man. Give a shout out to Red Jewelers. The Cut, where I'll be buzzing my hair if the Niners don't cover 3.5. 1058 3rd Street in Whitehall. 610-443-0511 for the best crew in town. Visit The Cut. Call them up. Make an appointment. Stop on by for a shape up or a cut on the fly. They don't turn away a customer. I've never seen them turn away a customer. Never. Period. Your Lehigh Valley Realtor, my man Eli Boutros, 484-547-8228. ELIB8 Elias Boutros, LehighValley.com. Of course, LehighValleyAgents.com. Call up my man Eli. Q&A question coming after the new year about buying or selling a home, investing property as well. Laziz Mediterranean Grill, Biagio Pizzeria, Mezza Middle Eastern Cuisine. 3 fine places to eat. I mean, every day just go to, you know what I mean? Every day, just go to one different. Of course, Laziz Grill, 4666 Broadway and Tillman Square Plaza. Biagio, 1526 Cedar Crest Boulevard. Of course, Mesa located off Mickley Ave in Whitehall, PA. Beef Baron will be there. Again, divisional round or the conference round for the NFL playoffs. We were there last Sunday. Great show. Great feedback from the show. A lot of views. Phenomenal pictures, Joe. JDM Photography. Big shout out to JDM Photography.
Well, we're trying to entice everybody to come down and try the food. I mean,
I know. And you had their wings yesterday. That's saying a lot, too. You went back there yesterday.
Good. I wanted the onion rings, but, you know, I'm just trying to stick with the protein.
Yeah, and the grilled healthy
but
food.
There were people eating onion rings the day of the show next to us. They said they were amazing.
Yeah, man. It was awesome food. I had some wings and a Delmonico steak sandwich. It was phenomenal right there at the Beef Baron.
Huge,
they are. The burgers have always been good. Beef Baron is, yes. And Matt Salit says, Laziz, and I showed you a picture before the show about Laziz's chicken shawarma. Of course, check out Laziz located at 4666. Closed today. Check them out tomorrow for lunch. Beef Baron's grilled wings are phenomenal. Another place that has phenomenal wings. I know Ronnie's on the show right now. 61 West Lehigh Street, Wooden Match in Bethlehem. Yes. Beer, meat, cigars, 610-865-1777. We did a lot of shows there with Albert from the law offices. Albert Yakub will be doing some more shows in 2019. How about New Year's in 2 weeks away? We're going to be in the new calendar year in 2019. And if there was ever a time to join GodfatherLocks.com, it is now. Bowl season going on for the rest of the year. Aladdin Restaurant just rejuvenated Aladdin Restaurant up with the show. We're going to have 4 live shows this year from the Aladdin Restaurant throughout 2019. 651 Union Boulevard in Allentown, PA. BYOB 610-437-4023. Visit them at AladdinLV.com. That's ALADDINLV.com. And of course on the Facebook app and all that other stuff, you can find them and find their page. Give them a like. Something you want to do on a Saturday night. I know last night they were packed. Essence Hookah Lounge. Big shout out to O out there on 3rd Street. And Eric Almore LLC if you're looking for a counselor. All of these advertisers are found on the Across the Board Sports Talk Show Facebook page. Like, share, subscribe to the Facebook, YouTube app on Across the Board Sports Talk Show. Big thank you to everybody that listened. This was the best show of the year. Hands down. I say it myself because I give myself some credit when credit is due. Lots of passion, lots of discussion. I see some more comments coming in. Julie says, Joey, you should come do a career day at my school. 100% in. 1,000,000% in. I would love to. I would love to talk to kids, especially kids in elementary school, middle school, where I would count me in. If I can like it right now while I'm on the... There you go. I just liked it. Julie, reach out to me. I would love to do that, of course, as well. Big games today for Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. Going to be a tough task. Going to be a tall order for Nicky Foles to get it done. If somehow the Eagles win today, this could be a repeat of last year. That's saying a lot. That is saying a lot. Does Pittsburgh win? We'll talk about it on the next program. Across the Board Sports Talk Show. JDMphotography.net. Big shout out to Joe, of course, chiming in and helping out with the show. Matt Salit says, go Cowboys. I've got the Colts. Again, I'm going to close the show with this. Biggest pick of the day, GodfatherLocks.com. Niners plus 3.5. If they do not cover the 3.5, which means if the Niners don't lose by 3, 2, or 1, or win the game, I will buzz my beautiful, luscious hair that everybody's obsessed with. And of course, they're only guys, Joe. How about that? Only guys like my hair. That's not a good thing. I mean, I'm married. I'm happily married. But I'm just saying, it's not like girls are saying, dude, you have great hair. I'm getting it from Albert and Matt Salit, and I love you guys. But, I got a compliment the other day at the doctor's office. I was there visiting a doctor's office, and one of the receptionists said you have nice hair, and she's in her early 30s. So I appreciate it.
We need more ladies to watch the show.
It's a confidence booster. Comment. Yes, we need more women watching the show.
Preferably ones that are not family.
No, I'm not saying that. Anybody that watches this show is great. Laura says you have great hair. Thank you. Well, I always count on my sister to back me up and give me love where it's needed. Love you guys very much. Everybody that's tuned in. Enjoy the games. I got to go watch Liverpool, Manchester United finish out their game in the second half. Watch some NFL games. Enjoy the games. Order some food. Stop by the Beef Baron. Watch some football games. Order from any of my small business. And look, check them out. Please, I plead with you guys. And another thing. Big thumbs up to the Ariella Toy Extravaganza. I know on Facebook, I saw them deliver the truck to the Chop down in Philadelphia. Big shout out to all those guys, and Abby, Albert, and their family. Great job, guys. Of course, if you want more information for donating, I'm sure Chop accepts donations all year round. If you want to donate to St. Jude's, Chop, everything like that, give it a shout out on Facebook, and of course on any sort of way you can give. That'll be thankful. Thank you, everybody. Across the Board Sports Talk Show. Awesome show. Listen to the playback. Give my advertisers some love. Enjoy the games. Niners, Packers, Colts. Those are your free picks. Talk to you next week. Thank you.